we broke up on the 27th of September 2001. I got married the very next day. All of these boys were at my wedding.
Your old boss, Simon Cowell, he actually managed you before he was on X Factor, wasn't he?
He hasn't replied.
He played the chorus
and
then he went, way, hey, day, may, no.
If he wants to come to a show, he's welcome.
He can get on down.
Your old boss, Simon Cowell, he actually managed you before he was on X Factor, wasn't he? Has he been in touch? Have you heard from him?
We out of courtesy let him know that we were reforming. Just out of courtesy, like, hey, by the way.
Hey, Simon.
And you know, he's obviously gone on to be a massive success. He was already a massive success, just not a famous one.
Yeah.
When he signed us, and we wish him well. Like, you know, he's doing his thing.
It was a huge part of what we did. And you know, he wasn't the celebrity that he is now, as Rich has just said, but he was an incredible A&R. He really helped us formulate our albums, our sound, chose the producers, the songwriters. He put everything together, and you know, he did a great job.
And we do thank him for that.
How did he respond when you reached out to him?
He hasn't replied. But you know what? He's a very, very busy man, so I'm sure he will at some point.
He's going to be in touch
if
at
he
some
wants to
point
come
with
to a
something.
show. If he wants to come to a show, he's welcome.
He can get on down.
Do you what was he like back in the day? What was it like working for him?
Absolutely the same as you see
He's
on the TV.
exactly
darling.
like he is on the TV.
Yeah.
It's literally that is
He
him.
was always meant to be in front
And he
of the
is,
camera.
has high trousers.
The first time I ever met Simon Cowell was at our second audition, where we were sort of there to be, you know, they knew that we were the band, I think, and I didn't know who he was at all. I didn't even know if he was a record label. He could have been just working at the dance studios that we were at, for all I knew. And I was just having a chat with him at the in the canteen, and I didn't really understand at that time I was under inspection. And luckily I passed. I didn't swear, was polite, got in the
He's
bag.
only 50.
Yeah.
What was the harshest thing he ever said to you?
That's rubbish. You shouldn't do accent.
No, actually, I do remember there was a song that was written, and all the rhymes were like something every day and every way. Da, 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 da. And he played the chorus, and then he went way, hey, day, may, no.
Yeah. As well as having the treble too high on
I
his...
remember.
Yeah, he didn't have any bass on his stereo, did he?
I get the demos in, and he obviously knows what he's doing with music. I mean, he is, like, on that side of things, he's a genius, obviously. But we get the demos in, and he's got this system in his office, and we put it on, and we'd all be thinking, oh no, it's ear bleed time, because he'd put it on, and all the treble was turned up, and there'd be no bass, and he's like, not really sure I'm feeling this one. It's like, what's
Turn the
because your
bass
system's
up.
all out
The
of
very-
whack, Simon.
The very interesting thing though, watching him work, he literally, all he needed was the first chorus. He just put it on, he'd get to the end of the first chorus, and he'd literally just follow his gut instinct. He wouldn't, and then he'd work the rest out later. He just knew from there. He'd just literally turn it off.
I've got a very funny story about Simon Cowell. He's we're at the When the Lights Go Out video shoot, and Simon's asked to move his Aston Martin DB7, and I said, I'll move it for you, Simon, expecting him to say no. So he chucks me the keys, and I'm just meant to move it from here to there. So I took it over Putney Bridge and literally took off.
Like Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
And literally, like, I mean, I'm sure, like, some of the wheels weren't on the floor, and literally as I parked it up, it come out and he was going all the pistons, like it's definitely been for a spin.
Oh yeah.
And he went, Scott, I won't do the voice. He said, Scott, you haven't been out in it. I went, no, Simon, definitely not. And walked in, and he was like, he knew that I'd been out in it. Literally took off from Putney Bridge.
I love that.
Great car. Great car.
I never knew
That's
you
where
did
all
that.
No, I didn't know. That's a new one.
That
Yeah.
is very cheeky.
I like it. That's rock and roll, baby. Well done.
You were the bad boy though, weren't you? Or one of them?
Well, I mean, one of the, most
One of them.
That is a pretty bad thing to do, yeah.
But now, like, knowing that Simon Cowell sort of previously managed you, surely you were the blueprint for One Direction. I mean, that could have been you guys, couldn't it?
Yeah, it could have been, but I don't think we were the blueprint for anything. If anything, our management at the time put the Spice Girls together, and they weren't the blueprint, 'cause obviously they had massive success, but we were the Spice Boys in a way.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's what it was labelled as.
Yeah.
We went to the Spice Boys auditions.
Simon was he kind of did sort of manage in a way, but he wasn't our actual manager. We were managed by a
Bob and Chris
partnership
Herbert.
called Chris and Bob Herbert, who originally put the Spice Girls together. And Simon would work with them and contacted them and said, "Can you put a male version together?"
Yeah.
So Simon was our A&R man, but
Yeah, from the record label.
Yeah,
For
he had a
anyone who
lot to
doesn't
say
know what
on
an
things
A&R
as well.
What do you guys think of One Direction? Obviously, like, do you think that he was a bit kinder on them than he was on you guys?
I'm 100% sure.
I
couldn't
don't
tell
know.
you.
I mean,
No idea.
what I think
I
of
can't
them is
speak
they
for
were
it.
unbelievable. I mean, their songs were
Songs were
incredible,
great.
incredible.
But we never said that Simon Cowell was unkind to us.
No.
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 Guys, if this tour goes well, will you work on new tracks?
The answer to whether we do new music at the moment is we're not even thinking about that. I think it's really important to do these 25 shows that we're doing, give that our utmost, our all, for the fans, for ourselves, concentrate on that and solely that.
Yeah.
And then we didn't know we'd be doing this, so I would never say never, but let's not look at that now.
Yeah.
Okay, and then finally, if it goes really well, would you do another tour, or are you just going to get this one out of the way?
Oh, I mean, 100%. We're taking every day as it comes, and we're embracing this. And you know, we thought we was putting on 12 dates, and we're doing 25. So there's more to come for sure.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But we'll see at the end of the
Yeah,
tour.
we don't know, do we?
We are just really like flowing with
moment.
the whole thing.
We're in the moment.
It's just moving by itself, and we're just seeing where it's going.
But when we
Seeing
first
where
when we
arrive.
first met up the very first time, this time round, we I know it sounds unbelievable, but we didn't have an objective and ulterior motive in our minds. It was genuine to just reconnect, and everything's just falling into place spontaneously. So we don't want to spoil it and start making all busy plans. We're just doing what's.
Sean, you famously left the band before they split, 'cause I think there's one video where they're carrying a cardboard cutout of you, isn't there?
Yeah.
What song is that?
Let's Dance. Yeah, Let's Dance. Yeah, the thing is, I hadn't actually left the band during Let's Dance. I was just basically I'd reached a point where Jay, I was in a bad place, and Jay said you could do with a bit of help here. Go and get some counselling. So I went and saw a counsellor, and I had a weekly report thing where I went to see a psychiatrist and a counsellor, and every week I went go back and I'd say, "Can I go back to work?" And they just said, "No way."
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I hadn't actually left, and then we came sort of back together. We was meeting up as a band. We had a meeting.
Yeah.
Scott was in pieces because he was having his own issues.
And us three weren't far away
Yeah.
from that as well.
Yeah.
We were all very close to breakdowns.
Yeah.
So it was just then we made a collective decision
out of love
that we
for
need
each
to
other.
I think we just got to a point where it wasn't working anymore, and obviously from my personal perspective, my firstborn child had just been born, and prematurely, and the management or whoever trying to get me to go on to see the UK, and I'm like, but my kid's in hospital, not very well. So I think I was battling with that. I wanted the family life, and I didn't know what I wanted.
I mean, when the band broke up, I was younger than Jay was when it started.
There was
Jay
a
was 21, I was 20 when it stopped. So
That's absolutely crazy.
Did you guys have a bit of a kind of, mending of things, Jay and Sean? Because obviously you talked about clashing in the past, didn't you?
I didn't. I don't know what I can't remember what I've said and what I haven't said. I don't know. But no, I mean, myself and Jay were very, very tightly bonded in the beginning of the band. We lived together all the way through, and a lot of that wasn't really documented because when you do a program and you're having an interview and you're speaking about things,
for 5 hours.
Yeah, then the negative side of things, which we've all had negative sides, is portrayed. But we've had our ups and downs. But the top and bottom of it is, no one's to blame. I played my equal part in it. My ego can run riot at times, and we've had miscommunications, misunderstandings, and you have to get to a place where you've got compassion for each other and you understand why somebody's behaving a certain way, and it's vice versa. We both.
I think it's easy to document the negative side of stuff, but what people don't know, the stuff that goes on in the background is We broke up on the 27th of September 2001. I got married the very next day. All of these boys were at my wedding, so